Troopers chase smuggler attempting to flee to Mexico. This sounds wild.
Show me on a 1080 with a red Tahoe Chevrolet.
Okay, so they're in this SUV right here.
It's gonna be a red Tahoe.
And
it just hit a Jeep. Multiple subjects in the rear, getting off, up and down. We're now traveling.
Man, these guys are moving.
On Santa Maria, southbound Santa Maria.
This is during the middle of the day, and apparently this SUV, it's being driven by a smuggler, and inside the car are several illegal immigrants. And as you're about to see, this gets crazy.
We're going on Man Road, east on Man Road.
This guy's all over the road. Look at him swerving into a parking lot. Uh-oh.
We are going through the parking lot of Old Taco Palenque. We're about to hit the frontage of I-35. Off of Washington, exit 1, off of Washington.
Man, look at that. Half on the grass, half off. Pieces of the car flying off. Okay, this is key right here. It looks like the smuggler tried to get off the road and reverse his direction and try to flee the opposite way, but that's not what's going on. There's something else happening over here because just on the other side of this little bank, the terrain hides a secret. See him stopping? And there's people getting out of the car. Look at that. So, what you're about to see here, there are several people who exited this SUV, jumped in this river, and were able to swim across this river and get back into Mexico. But not everybody's as strong a swimmer as those who got away, and as you're about to see, the people who were fleeing law enforcement now have to be rescued by them.
No puedes nadar, vente para atrás.
Dale, ahí va para allá.
I gotta help this guy out.
Got it out, let's go.
No suelte. Oye, ¿no tienes armas? No lo suelte, no lo suelte.
Wow. Look at all the people they caught. That's crazy. And this right over here apparently is Mexico. This guy almost got away. But look at this. Here we have another such chase, which happened 3 days before the one we just looked at. The target here is this pickup truck. Look, he's using the same tactics to try and evade police. And this doesn't end well for the smugglers in this either. But what's crazy is they even have smugglers doing this. Look, you got people trying to get home from work. Okay, so let me just pause it right here. Look at this. You've got a parking lot over here. You've got oncoming traffic right here. And you got this guy who's up on the curb. This is during the day. This is a work day for most people. But when you have an open border for a long time and you allow a criminal element to come into your country and exist here, this is what they do for work. Look at this. He thinks he can throw off the police, but he's in a residential neighborhood. This is terrible.
First up, going back towards the highway.
This is crazy. Look at all the officers everywhere. It's such a waste of public resources having to deal with people like this. Oh, here he is. They're trying to... Okay, so right here you've got an officer ahead of this guy. You've got him here, and this is such a waste of resources. All of these officers could be out making their neighborhoods, their communities a better place, but because federal law allowed people like this to get into America and start these massive smuggling businesses, they've got to deal with this instead. And when you ever hear arguments about, oh, the police, they've got too much work to do, they shouldn't be helping ICE, they shouldn't be doing this, they shouldn't be doing that, well, look at what all of this federal criminal activity is doing to local jurisdictions. It's doing this. The guy crashes and they eventually catch him. Here he is. Now, that person was also in the vehicle, and it doesn't show where they were sitting, but there's a chance they may not have been wearing a seatbelt. That's just incredibly sad. These smugglers, they're not making the world a better place by bringing people into the country who shouldn't be here and who, once they get here, have to become part of the criminal element just to survive in this country. This whole thing is awful. This is why you have to close the border to stop people like this from coming in and putting everyone's life in danger just so they can make money. Here we have another pursuit, and this one, the smuggler has stopped their vehicle. Officers are getting out. Let's see what happens.
Sálgase del mueble. Get out of the car. You have weapons with you?
No weapons.
Secure everybody.
Why are you arresting me?
Right.
Why am I being arrested?
Who are all those people?
They're homeboys.
Homeboys?
They're not my homeboys.
All right.
So this guy appears to be someone who's proficient in English. He appears to be somebody who may have a vehicle in their own name. It's not a stolen vehicle. They look like a normal person living in this country, but here they are engaged in human smuggling.
Listen, Mom.
I'm gonna sit you in the car and then we'll talk.
Can I light my cigarette, please?
What do you have? Knife?
A knife and shit. And my wallet.
Okay.
Oh.
¿Ustedes apenas acaban de cruzar?
Sí.
Porque tienen...
So they admit it. They just crossed the border, and this guy picked them up, and he was bringing them somewhere. He's part of a human smuggling operation.
Más tienen todo. Están manchados.
There's a woman back here. Look at
¿De
that.
dónde cruzaron?
No sabemos.
¿No saben? ¿Nomás eran tres?
Sí.
Ok. ¿Nomás eran tres? Ok. ¿No tienen armas? ¿No tienen nada? No. Ok. ¿Se puede subir uno?
Wow, look at that. So this gentleman right here, a resident of Texas, he was arrested for smuggling people. Now, he had 3 people in the car. This article here might tell us how much he makes. It's called Cartels Turn to Social Media to Lure Americans into Smuggling. And right here, one person said that they would earn $1,000 for bringing somebody across. This guy might have earned $3,000, and if he does this multiple times a month, I mean, he could have a 6-figure income. And before we watch the next one of these where officers encounter a very frightening situation, it's important to understand that if this is going on in your society, that's going to put such a massive strain on law enforcement that by not intervening and by not helping federal authorities get people like this off the streets, every single person who lives there is in a lot of trouble. And at the same time, by allowing these criminals to exist and do their thing, they just get more emboldened and get more powerful because as they're speeding down the road, they pass police cars and nothing happens to them. But that's not what happened here. He's saying, turn off the car. Okay, driver comes out with his hands up. Smart.
They just decided to open the door?
¡Las manos! ¡Las manos! I can't tonight. Manos arriba, todos manos arriba. They're
And
laying
there are
down in the back seat.
passengers.
Nobody's secured. Sálganse, hey, uno por uno, sálganse. Siéntese.
When you pull over a vehicle like this, you have no idea as an officer what you're walking into. There's window tint, there's a whole bunch of people in the car. Sometimes the car's over capacity. And these folks, they could be anybody because they entered the country without permission. Nobody knows who they are. They could be criminals. They could be members of a gang. They could be very dangerous. They could have weapons. This is very frightening. 3 people in the car this time.
I can't.
So you've got this man right here, and it looks like 2 women. This doesn't look like a good situation at all. Who even knows what awaits people in this situation? We're told that as Americans who might favor a strong border, that we're denying these individuals something, but they're headed for the criminal underworld, probably in a sanctuary city somewhere. who knows what they're ultimately going to be caught up in. I don't know if I even want to know the answer to that. But get ready for an I told you so moment.
Powerful criminal organizations on earth. So what really most Americans don't understand is that when they see this mass flow of people across the border, what they're looking at has been described to me as the largest form of modern slavery in the world. Because, and I've seen this with my own eyes, so many of the people coming across will have a little card in their pocket or a number written down, which is a routing number for a bank account for the cartel. If you haven't paid all of your fees by the time you cross, they will collect. And so many people, when you're in a restaurant in New York, and
crazy.
You know, you and your friends are talking about, oh, isn't it wonderful how these immigrants work, you know, 2 jobs and they're so hardworking. Well, guess what? They're working 2 jobs a lot of the time because so much of their money is going back to those cartels.
That's incredibly frightening. But that's reality. Reality is not that you have people who are coming here and who are yearning for freedom. When they enter the country, they know that they are enslaved to these criminals. They know that they owe them a massive debt that they could never pay. You've got reports of people paying $10,000, $20,000 to come into America. These individuals don't have that. And here we have a report about how when people come across, this is from several years ago, they've got banking information, they have to send money back to these criminals. That's terrible.
Still exploiting them. And now some of them are wearing wristbands which link to databases and computers, so the cartel is able to track you wherever you are. And of course they can also keep track of your family, you know, on the other side of the border. So there's no escape for these people.
There are reports of individuals in New York City asylum shelters who have to live next to gang members, and those gang members, they'll go to them. Tren de Aragua, they do this. They go to the people in the shelter and they say, hey, join our gang, become a thief, go steal from Macy's, go do shoplifting, bring us stolen products. Oh, you don't want to do that? Well, now that we've revealed ourselves to you as criminals, you knowing about our existence and not cooperating with us is bad. Now you're an outsider. Now you are our enemy. That's what they tell people. They tell people they're going to hurt their families back home if they don't join them. And I can only imagine what they tell people who they've transferred across the border and know all about. And this makes it sound like people who defend the idea of an open border are lying about the consequences of that border. You don't have people entering America who then experience the American dream. They're not able to experience the American dream because they're prisoners of a dangerous system that just wants to take from them and will never release them. What do you think about that? Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.